As Mr. Amrin Amin noted, there are also new potential fault lines in our social fabric beyond race and religion, which could be used against us if we are not careful. With globalization and significant mobility among Singaporeans, we cannot assume that all Singaporean children will continue to experience the culture of our local schools and neighborhoods as they grow up. There are also others who come from transnational families. These are not concerns in and of themselves, but they do signal that the experiences and perspectives of our people are more varied than before. If we do not continue to forge common understanding, our differences could be played up to divide us, making it difficult for us to band together in a crisis. We need a strong social defense. This means growing our common spaces by interacting with people of different backgrounds, speaking up against attempts to sow discord, and helping those in need. One important element of this is to fortify trust and understanding between people of different religious backgrounds to guard against radical ideas that may divide us. Just last month, the 5 Community Development Councils or CDCs launched the Common Census for Common Spaces Interfaith Dialogue Program nationwide. This provides members of the community with a safe space to ask questions and learn more about different faiths in Singapore, thus deepening their understanding and appreciation. It is also heartening to see that our youth understand the importance of social defense and are initiating ground-up projects to expand our common space too. The Interfaith Youth Circle, for example, was started by a group of youth who wanted to bridge gaps in understanding about different religions in Singapore, especially given the negative sentiment and online chatter following terror attacks around the world. They organize activities such as scriptural reasoning sessions, where people come together to read and reflect on scriptures from different faiths. Such efforts foster deeper trust and a stronger will to stand firm against attempts to turn us against each other. Mr. Vikram Nair asked about the impact of fake news on security and how MINDEF is combating this threat. In an interconnected world, Singaporeans are more easily exposed to pressures that could unsettle their willingness to uphold our national interests, including racial and religious harmony. These influences could come in the form of falsehood deliberately spread online. In 2007, for example, an insensitive prank photo of pork sold at NTUC Fair Price with a halal sticker on the packaging was circulated via email. NTUC Fair Price had called it out as false back then. Still, it's resurfaced again in 2014. Social media had become a lot more prevalent in the span of just 7 years, and the photo made its rounds on Facebook, where posts are easily shared with a wider audience. While the incident was resolved, similar cases could tear at our interfaith unity. Likewise, falsehood could spread to weaken our trust in public institutions and confidence in a shared future or incite fear. Some of you may recall a video that was shared on social media early last year, purportedly showing an explosion in Tuas. While a fire did break out, this said footage of the incident was fake. The video had in fact been uploaded on YouTube multiple times from 2015 onwards, and on separate occasions been labeled as blasts in China, India, and France. The same footage. If it had not been debunked, the video could have sparked panic and anxiety amongst Singaporeans. Fake news has the potential to undermine us from within, and is a key challenge that has led MINDEF to focus more on psychological defense. Moreover, the growing number of Singaporeans who pursue work and education opportunities abroad may have to wrestle with dissenting views more squarely. Foreign business partners, schoolmates, or friends may at times express fundamental disagreements with Singapore's decisions, policies, and actions. They could even persuade you to adopt their viewpoint at the expense of supporting our national interests. Psychological resilience on the part of each individual is being decisive in withstanding such pressures. I read an opinion piece on total defense earlier this year, where Channel News Asia editor Jamie Ho rightly pointed out how defense today entails Singaporeans thinking for ourselves and standing up for ourselves. This is psychological defense, appreciating our vulnerabilities and challenges, advancing our values and interests, being able to spot mistruths, and standing up for Singapore. Just as our threats extend beyond the military realm, so must our deterrence. In addition to a credible military force, we need a psychologically resilient people able to withstand crises or viral attacks and not be rattled. If someone comments negatively about Singapore, and our immediate response is not to verify the facts, but to instead condemn Singapore, and worse, spread the untruths, we are creating for ourselves a hole in our defense, and that our adversaries would not hesitate to jump at and widen the divide. I'm glad to see that Singaporeans, such as those behind the online site Confirm, which runs quizzes on issues relating to Singapore, have taken the initiative to try and help those around them understand our principles, positions, and policies better, preventing them from falling prey to false fake news and untruths. I have elaborated on social and psychological defense because threats in these domains are very real, but often unapparent. They have a creeping yet significant impact on our ability to defend Singapore. In the other pillars of our total defense, Singaporeans are our first defenders too. Take military defense, for example. Enlisting in the SAF Volunteer Corps is one way many women, new citizens, and first-generation permanent residents have stepped up to serve. To address Dr. Teo Ho Pin's query, since the SAF Volunteer Corps was launched in 2014, we have trained over 600 volunteers and deployed them to various roles. In 2018, volunteers will be able to serve in 15 additional roles across the SAF. Many are also contributing to civil defense. To prevent a terror attack, for example, Mr. Sanjit Singh, chairman of the Community Emergency and Engagement Committee, or C2E, in Teluk Blangah, worked with other volunteers to conduct regular patrols on our trains. In MINDEF and the SAF, we are equipping our personnel to respond to crises in their personal capacities too. Most of our servicemen who undergo basic military training, or BMT, learn some first aid and CPR AED skills, as do our SAF VCs. Mr. Rajendran Madan Praseth is a commendable example of someone who has not only stepped up to do more for military defense by joining the SAF VC, but used the skills acquired during his training to contribute to civil defense while off duty. In April last year, he performed CPR on an elderly lady suffering a cardiac arrest. In the face of terrorism, we have developed a community response module to supplement the skills that our personnel like Mr. Rajendran possess. It has been rolled out in the BMT curriculum, and in the next 2 years, all MINDEF and SAF personnel will be required to go through this module. It complements the SG Secure effort and better prepares our servicemen to be active community responders. MINDEF, alongside our partners, will continue to encourage different groups of Singaporeans to contribute concrete ways to total defense. We are constantly exploring innovative ways to engage our youth. Mr. Bayam King asked how we are doing so. The Guardians of the City, or GOTC card game, launched in 2017, is one way through which we are helping our youth understand the terror threat facing Singapore and how they can respond. This year, we have given out over 38,000 decks of the game to all secondary school 2 students, and schools have organized the JOTC cohort experiences. Mr. Muhammad Shamir Anwar, a secondary school teacher who facilitated the game and conducted reflection sessions for his students, shared that the students both enjoyed it and learned valuable lessons on total defense. To quote him, "This game is something different, something exciting. The students want to try it because it is interactive, because games are so relatable to them. It is a good platform to teach them about total defense." Other interactive tools to bring total defense to life for our youth include a total defense puzzle that was developed in collaboration with agencies across government and creatives at SPH Think. It has been distributed to schools, SAF camps, and community centers, and various organizations, especially schools, have found the puzzle to be a useful learning resource. MINDEF has also more specific programs for our young recruits. I fully agree with Associate Professor Fatima Latif that besides physical training, it is important to prepare our recruits psychologically in a changing security environment. Beyond encouraging future recruits as part of our outreach to students, there is a comprehensive plan to strengthen their physical and psychological resilience when they enlist. This is infused in various aspects of the full-time national service experience. One part of the national education activities and milestone events that help them understand what our security challenges are, what we are defending, and why, and what we must do to continue keeping Singapore safe and secure. These include experiential visits to defense-related heritage sites, the weapon presentation ceremony, and a 24-kilometer route march from Changi to Marina Bay. As they march past iconic landmarks in Singapore, they are reminded of what they are training to protect. The route march also symbolically reverses the prisoners of war route of defeat from the city to Changi after Singapore fell to our invaders during World War II. The soldiers march to their graduation parade at Marina Bay today. It represents their resolve to never again let Singapore fall. Besides these events and activities, it is the overall full-time NS experience, building strong bonds with their mates and commanders and experiencing values in action demonstrated by the commanders that strengthens our recruits psychologically. With understanding and conviction comes the resilience to protect our home even in the face of new threats and challenges. Families are key pillars of support as our national service, for our national servicemen. Both Ms. Joan Pereira and Associate Professor Fatima Latif has asked what MINDEF is doing to engage families. The SAF has been engaging families of national servicemen through events such as the milestone parades, unit family days, and open houses, and also provides them with information on NS. Through Accord, we also partner organizations such as Families for Life and the Center for Fathering to engage families on NS and total defense. Mr. Chairman, may I have the indulgence to continue a little bit
Yes, we
more?
do have some time before the bulletin time for MINDEF. Please wrap up in the next few minutes.
Thank you. Activities we have had include the Celebrating NS50 picnic and That's for Life camp last year. Accord has also conducted focus groups discussions with women to gather feedback on how we can better support our national servicemen and their families. In this way, families can not only support national servicemen in their NS journey, but appreciate the role they themselves play in total defense too. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, sir, if each one of us understands that what Singapore stands for and is committed to protecting our way of life, we will be able to deter and overcome sinister attempts to shake our unity and confidence. Besides the individuals that I have highlighted today, there are many others who are putting total defense into action in their everyday lives. by giving their best during NS training, securing personal devices, learning first aid, donating blood, and taking up new skills. MINDEF will continually work towards strengthening this whole of society effort. With a strong total defense, we have every reason to be hopeful and confident in Singapore's future. Thank you.